Welcome back, family. I know it's been a few years since we talked about this ancient map from the 1500s. I say ancient, that's really not that long ago. But this map, the reason we were talking about it is because of not only how well it lines up with the Air Age maps of today and present times, we were also looking at some of the things that it says. And when we had zoomed in on it back then, we could see words. We did not understand them. We typed them as best we could into Google Translate, and it told us things about evil spirits that go into people to make them perish and be lost. That was fascinating because, in my opinion, this guy was not a fiction writer. I mean, who knows? Maybe he was like, why don't I just accurately map the world in the 1500s before anyone else is doing it, and then turn it into a comic book? He may have been that kind of guy, but I doubt it. I think a lot of the things he was writing were things he experienced, things they saw, things like these unclean spirits that look a lot like Baphomet. Could they have been actual creatures like that back then? I doubt it. I'm pretty sure these guys were calling these things as they saw them spirits or unclean spirits. But what I had asked for during this video was that someone would help me translate it. And there was a person who reached out several months later that was Italian, and he was currently living in California. And this guy reached out to us and said, hey, you need a translator for the map. I'm your guy. And we set up an interview. And so I talked to this guy on Skype way back before we had good internet. And so I just want to start out by saying the interview you're about to see is very low quality for a reason, but I'm keeping it as it is. It's for educational purposes. I'm not saying that the things this map says are true or that you should all of a sudden just start creating this massive conspiracy thing around them where it's like, hey, we know what's out there. I'm not saying that it's still like that today. Again, this was the 1500s. Times change. Our governments have been doing crazy stuff. And so you'll be shocked at some of the things you see, like I was. But the translator, the guy, Gero, I believe was his name, if that's how you pronounce it, he was super cool and was just not surprised by anything that this map said, like I was. But I'm going to play that out here in just a second. I did want to show you some cool things I saw when I was going back and trying to find the links to add pictures to this, because it really is some very telling things and shows you how they viewed the world back then. Like this little map here. This is a world map in the center. It's a flat world map, and they don't tell you a lot about what's outside the world. It just has like a big red ring, star-like or sun-like structure. These little, I don't know what you would call these things, these little spikes sticking out. And the angels mentioned in Enoch, the ones that are blowing the winds, the hoarfrost, and all of that, they have them outside of our world blowing wind inward. And all sorts of little measurements and numbers kind of documenting some sort of measurement that they may have known. I really do not know. I think this is probably some guesswork from these guys. And then when you look ahead a little bit, sorry, it's going to load in. I found another one similar in the back of the book. It looks a lot like the sun on the heliocentric model made by Copernicus. Maybe that's just how everybody depicted the sun back then due to all the pagan influences. But it looks like an eclipse is being depicted here. He's even got the shadows added in. Again, there's a world map. Looks like there's water around it. Whatever this red thing is, I can't really make out this word. Then some writings that I would love to have the translator back to help me figure this stuff out, but I'm not in a hurry to do this stuff, and I really don't have as much of a desire as I once did. I know we're running out of time to wake people up, so I thought it'd be cool to share this while I still have it, because that video was almost lost. It was on an old computer, and the charger had stopped working, but I kept thinking, man, I want to get that video because I need to share it before I forget about it and it's lost forever. So I messed with the charger and got it to work just long enough for me to take the video off of the old computer and get it to my new one, and then it died. So I decided to work on it a little bit. It's not lengthy at the time when I made this. It was a busy time. I was helping to take care of my mom. It was right before she passed. So I put a lot of things I was doing on hold and just never got back to it. But I'm going to go ahead and start that interview, and we'll be back soon. I've got a lot of really more relevant and important things to come in the future. But thank you all for your support. We have just passed 100,000 subscribers thanks to an answered prayer that was spoken 5 years ago. So thank you all so much for all that you have endured to share our work and help answer that prayer for us to bring people this way so that we can fellowship in these interesting times as we prepare for the next chapter. So enjoy, and we'll see you really soon.
Well, hello, everyone. I have a special guest here today who has reached out to us. He is from Italy, and he found our video about the map and has offered his expertise to help out. He speaks English and Italian, so he will definitely be of great assistance. So I appreciate him. His name is Gero. Did I say that right?
Yeah, right.
And he is now living in America. I think California. Is that where you're from? Or you're at now, the West Coast? Okay. You can go ahead and introduce yourself real quick.
Yeah, my name is Gero. I'm Italian-born, American-grown. That's how I define myself. I moved here 11 years ago with my partner, and I just started my my independent study about life. Believe it or not, there's nothing better to start being curious and start a path that will never end. So it starts, you don't know where, and it take you here in front of a camera of a guy that shares the same thought and way of thinking.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing the screen so we could look at some of this stuff and then investigate it. There we go. I'm starting to get a little more clarity. Yeah, I have about dial-up speeds of internet right now. Slowest internet I've ever had. But I was looking at the center of the world here, and I'm amazed at the way this map seems to match up perfectly with our current air age maps of the world for plane flight, and sort of like the UN logo type of maps. But reading some of this stuff, these little phrases right here.
Okay, so here he says, "Qui sono pygmei." It means here are the pygmies.
Ah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Then there's something canceled over there, and says mente. Vivono solo. It talks about animals and says that is one that live alone in. You can't tell. First of all, I think it's cut and it's
it's kind of wore off right here on the outer edge.
It's worn off. Then on the other side says paese di sanissima abitude. It says that it's this land. It's lived by King Arthur.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And what is that word pygmy? What is that speaking of? Is that?
It talks about populations of people.
Okay.
Pygmy, I think it's referred that there were various civilization living there.
Okay? Oh, wow.
Yeah, and this is why I told you that all this technical stuff has to have the spiritual counterpart. Otherwise, it won't work. It won't work because it'll be either science or spirituality. It never worked separately. We know that the movement of the 60s failed. Okay, so we need to put them together. If we put them together, it's called spiritual science, and everything is going to match together. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was trying to find stuff that I was looking at. Let's see, because where it was talking about the pygmy long right here, this part. I wasn't sure if it was talking about like a race of like little people or like, because the word longhi, I thought it meant like tall and skinny.
Yeah, but see, but I don't know if this name. Do you see that it's written in different, in a little different character? I think it belongs to the another description.
Yeah, because I was always curious as to the whole North Pole Christmas story that everybody listens to with the dwarves and the Santa and the little what if they're borrowing?
There wouldn't be any meaning in Italian to give a counter meaning to a word like that. I mean,
Oh,
what,
okay.
a short, long thing? No.
Yeah.
Call it short or long. It's not a
Yeah.
long thing.
'Cause
Unless,
I see that word again here.
oh,
Pygmy.
okay, yeah.
Right here.
Oh, right, wait. Sereningeri, quasi picnic, che vivono sotto. Okay. Almost pygmy people that live under the earth of every nation. So it's saying
Wow.
pygmies, different kind of pygmies live underneath every nation. So there are different races of pygmies, like different races
Wow.
of humans.
That's interesting.
Doesn't surprise
Different
me.
races.
Why should it surprise me? Why should that surprise anyone?
Yeah.
Why they would be surprised? Why do you really think maybe the extraterrestrial that I've been talking about have never been extraterrestrial, but intraterrestrial? We don't know
Yeah.
anything about we don't know anything what happened on the surface. Can you imagine we know anything that could happen underneath? No, we don't. We don't know. In the dark. That's
Yeah, you're right about that.
little sheeple.
Wow.
Shut up and just go make money for the government.
Yeah. That's interesting. I'm definitely intrigued by that.
This is a fairy tale. It's very interesting, but way more interesting than reality. So I'll get it. I'll buy it. I mean, I don't care. It's fun.
What about this? This one was really hard for me to read right here. It's kind of the way it's written, real sloppy.
Okay.
That first word's really hard for me to make out.
Ocean, l'oceano, the ocean.
Oh, ocean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Give me a moment. Okay. It's the ocean that runs under the pole. It goes under, it's not really clear. It's not even that important, I think. It just says that runs around a mount. It's just describing the ocean, the way the ocean goes underneath, basically.
Oh, okay.
It says that it's rough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing too important there.
The only thing that really kept me up all this year, thinking that I as a human being, I feel honored to have all the equipment that God gave me to go on live, because no matter what they did to us, okay, no matter what level, and the level really goes deep down to the complete erase of the memory of the human being, basically. We've been totally erased. We have been reprogrammed in a world that doesn't belong to us because it's little of natural as it's supposed to have. All right? So we don't know anything. We're not guilty for anything. And that's my rant. That's it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm trying to pull up what I was looking at in their video on YouTube. There it is. They have a lot of these little guys on their maps. And I was curious as to why they were on there. And that's what really piqued my curiosity.
Because they were there. Because they existed.
Yeah, this guy wasn't like a fiction writer. He was, in my opinion, I thought he was going around, on a mission to kind of chart the world and what it looks like, and just describing stuff like a diary. And that's kind of what this is.
Right.
He wasn't like a novel writer or anything. So I thought right here, I was talking about. Could you decipher or translate what this little phrase here is?
I can't read it. It's out of focus.
I'll zoom in a little bit. Hold on. Let me get it a little bigger, and it might be a connection too. Hold on.
You know what? Why don't I go on my part to see if I can find it and find the same
here,
one?
let me send you this link right here. Try that. See that, and you can pull it up on your computer, and we can look at it together. Yeah, towards the bottom, there's like that little winged creature guy.
Devilish creature.
Yeah, and right above his head, it says like in case deserti or
deserti vi sono spiriti che ingannano gli annandati a farli pericolo. Okay, in this desert live evil spirits that will cheat on you. Let me see if I can. Okay. lì che ingannano gli okay, okay. In this desert lived evil spirits that will cheat on the wayfarer to make them in danger.
Wow. That's
So
intriguing.
listen to this. Listen to this. The following one,
Uh-huh.
Paniconia. It's
Oh
probably
yeah.
Paniconia. Probably it's a region or a city or something because I see a castle, so there must be a city.
Yeah.
Okay, here says, qui si trovano animali con faccia di donzella, il corpo di leone e coda di scorpione. Okay, here you can find animals with little women's face, body of lion, and tail of a scorpion. So the chimera was already there. Chimera was never a chimera because it existed. Here,
That's interesting.
take it home.
Wow.
Gee,
Oh wow, that's so cool.
how many times they have put this kind of stuff in form of fairy tale? I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
I believe they're real.
The outer edges of the map, like what's beyond that? Because the map on the exterior shows a lot more land than what we typically see.
That's what Admiral Byrd
Yeah.
reported from the Operation High Jump. That's
Yeah.
what he reported. There was a land as big as the United States never been accounted for. Where, first of all, was that land within the wall, or was that land between after the wall? Where was that land? Because as far as we know, the Earth as we know it, that's what it has. Have you seen the Earth the way it is? No, we don't know if there's another continent there. We don't know that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
I heard somebody sent me an interesting video, or not. It was a video they had put together on their channel, and the channel didn't have a lot of subscribers, and the video didn't have a lot of views, but it was very interesting. It talked about someone who had been in the army and like in the military back in 2000 and 1999 and went to Antarctica and said they were studying this type of ice. And it said there was two types of ice. There's the regular ice that you have, and then they said that's the kind that when Nat Geo would show up or somebody, they would show them that and pretend to be just studying that. And there was another kind of ice that they called sky ice that they were studying. And it was like when it would dissolve or melt, there would never be any water residue. And it was much colder than regular ice. And that's why they had to study it in Antarctica, because when you worked with it in the lab environment, it would not last very long. They couldn't get it transported further away and study it, so they studied it there for the most part, and said that they had heard these stories that this ice, it was called sky ice, was the person told them, yeah, it's from this wall, and we've tried drilling into it, and they would bore their equipment couldn't handle that extreme cold, so they had to redo or invent equipment that could handle those temperatures. And when they did and started drilling into it, they got really far, like 5-6 miles or so, and then the hole almost like started healing up, like it started closing to where they almost couldn't get back out, so they had to abandon what they were doing. So I was like, wow. So it's basically like they were drilling into the firmament is what I'm picturing. And when they're doing this drilling, it starts like growing back, like sealing shut. And I guess they could have gotten trapped in there. Who knows if that's happened?
They could never win.
Yeah.
Nobody can never win, period. So it doesn't matter how much Illuminati and devil are gonna be on Earth. I'm sorry, guys, it's game over. Just enough already. We know where we headed to. So and why do you waste your time? Because I know the story. I know how it ends now. You lost me. You have no more power on me. So that's it. That's what you have to say. And you're done. And go on with your life, because life is very interesting.
But yeah, just what you've said already is quite
Okay, so here's the
enough.
other pygmy
There it
part,
is.
top of the map. It said,
Uh-huh.
qui abitano pigmei di grandi, di grandi, molto grandi, di 4 palmi. Okay, so he says that here are pygmies, live pygmies, tall 4 palmi. 4 palmi, it's a measurement in Italian, used to be used for land measurement. I have to figure out how much 1 palmo is, and I'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what's on the top of the slice of the map. The other thing I can't read because there's this line of the mountains on top of it. Something about one of the columns of the world. Is this a slice that leads up to the North Pole?
I think so.
Oh, that's interesting because this is basically Polarian.
Oh, okay.
This is where the souls landed and started their incarnation into in and out of shapes to figure out what was going on.
Uh-huh.
They have to locate them. So this is the first land. It's where Mount Meru is. It's where the first civilization, the first root race came out from.
Yeah. Wow, because that's what I was reading that or trying to translate it. It said something where the spirits first descended from the sky is what it said. That yeah, I've heard some information when my brother was talking to that lady who was born in or married into an Illuminati family. He's working on the video now. I can't wait till he gets it done. But she was talking about them trying to basically summoning the demons and stuff and trying to create like an army and really not knowing the dangers of what they were doing, kind of the stuff you see on like the show Stranger Things.
Yeah, so it just goes everywhere, and the trick is that you have to keep up you have to be ready to switch from argument to argument, to go from religion to technology, to go from bullshit to planet, to know also cosmology. It's like, can you choose for yourself when something becomes interesting to follow and drop all of your attitude and just sit down, shut up, and listen? It's all that. It's just that's it.
Yeah.
Just listen. What prevents you to listen? What important things you have to do? It's a story. Get your mind off things, and maybe opening your brain, you'll figure out that it's not difficult to put up with your brain. That your brain it's better. That it's probably the best person you can have a relationship with, and you're both going to benefit from it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, awesome. Well, I appreciate you, man. We got to look through this stuff some more. I don't want to keep all of your time. I know you have stuff to do, and
oh no, that's okay. You just let me know so I can prepare some stuff, or let me know.
Yeah, I'll give you the links so you could actually you could look at links and stuff yourself, and if you come up with anything, just
now
feel free to share. That is so cool to pick your brain and let you translate that stuff.
No, it's important for me to know that we are on the same page exactly on anything we're talking about. So anything that I can do just to make the conversation crackling and be interesting for you, to have more people around. I'll keep with my researches. Every day there's a new thing talking about politics, Trump, or whatever fun about that. All the little thing tied up to the Looking Glass that nobody knows about. They're in public domain. I know where to go find them, and I can tell them because I take them from the website and the little people that go and do the work. Actually, I thank so much for giving me all this little insight that gives you the bigger picture.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Jero.
Yeah.
I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, brother. That's awesome. I look forward to learning some more and sharing some of the knowledge we have in these crazy times where we're investigating everything.
Okay.
Well, thanks so much.
Proposal.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you and your patience and just being ready for whenever our crazy schedule opens up, man. It's been a blessing.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks. We'll see you soon, I hope.
See you soon.